Yo, how's everyone doing? It's JBH here, and welcome back to 2K18, where today we're going up against the Chicago Bulls back at the Amway Center. So nice to start another home run. Had a pretty disappointing loss against Memphis on Wednesday, but just trying to get some consistency, like sort of like NHL 18. I'm struggling with both games right now. I seem to be fine with Madden and FIFA this year, but NHL and NBA 2K, I just cannot seem to get any consistency. It seems like one game, the game performs normally, and then the next one it's like just retarded. So, particularly with 2K, just the field goal percentage is just all over the place. So anyway, all we can do is just roll on and try and get another win. So that's what we're gonna do. Either way, let's just get straight into this game.
Je t'aime, j'ai le réflexe derrière mon cœur. Moi F3 s'est transformé en bunker. Je suis mon seul, un seul réal.
It's the 2K Sports pregame show.
This is the NBA on 2K Sports. Ernie Johnson, happy to be here with my partners, Kenny the Jet Smith and Shaquille O'Neal. Tonight, we'll be watching the Orlando Magic playing against the Chicago Bulls. And guys, for the Bulls, the early part of the season has not unfolded the way they pictured it. They've struggled to perform on a consistent basis, and it's led to a series of disappointing results. You just don't know which team is going to show up every night. And the Orlando Magic tried to make a push for the playoffs last season. They brought in some veteran talent to try and move the needle. Needless to say, guys, didn't quite work.
Ernie, this is where I live. I hate to really say something bad about this team because it's a team that drafted me, but the makeup of the roster, Ernie, was a big problem. Too many front court players, not enough guys on the wing.
Not enough. Oh, too many front court.
Too many.
I
Way too
didn't
many.
think you'd ever say that.
Yeah, way too many.
Well, I think because of the game changing a little bit, you can have front court players.
Everybody wants to go small ball. Everybody wants to play
They
small
just got to
ball.
defend the three-point. They don't have to shoot it. Just defend it.
Why all the bitterness about small
Because I live in
ball?
Orlando.
No,
I'm a
but why all
fan.
the bitterness about small ball?
'Cause small
Just because
guys-
you're a big guy?
Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
We're coming at you from the beautiful Amway Center in downtown Orlando, Florida, home of the Magic. This is Kevin Harlan, and by my side, Chris Webber and Greg Anthony. From the sideline, Hall of Famer David Aldridge. This game marks the end of a road trip for Chicago. They're looking to snag one here before heading back home. It's been a bit of a slow start for the season for them so far, but it's still very early and a lot of games to be played.
You know, Kevin, this is a team that you would certainly not consider to be world beaters, but they certainly are better than what they've shown us thus far. I mean, it will be interesting to keep an eye on them the rest of the season because they've got the potential to make some improvement.
And before this game gets going, let's send it over to David Aldridge, who caught up with head coach Fred Hoiberg. David.
Well, guys, he told me that today is all about setting the tone for the rest of the season series with this team. He said they're going to be a tough opponent for us every time we see them. And we've got to let them know right now, today, that we're going to be just as tough for them. We'll find out, indeed, if they can set the right tone, Kevin.
Thanks so much, David. And Chris, it must be fun for you watching two teams who look for a lot of their offense in the low block.
I mean, there's a real art to being on that low block. If you think about it, you can facilitate just like a point guard. All you have to do is just be dominant down there. When you do that, you'll cause a double team. Your height, your position, where you're on the floor, you can see over other players, and you can find that open man. It's like playing the point guard, just from a different position.
So it's physical,
All right,
but
here
there
we
is a
go.
lot of nuance to it as well, correct?
Oh, yeah, it's definitely physical, much more physical than being out top of that front of the key. But if you can handle it correctly, that means you have more space, you can be more efficient. efficient, use less dribbles, and also now with the way that players play and their skill set, they space the floor so much, so it's harder for a player to get to you and help. And if a player does commit to you with that help, that means you can find an open man and make the defense pay.
All fueled up and ready to go. Let's check out who's on the floor, courtesy of Gatorade. So for Chicago right now, Markkanen and Lopez are together down low. Zach LaVine is out there with Grant, and it's Valentine in at the 3, the small forward. LaVine can't hit. Last game for the Bulls, it was a loss to Miami.
You know, they're the visiting team. It's a loud arena, very distracting at times, but simply no excuse for missing a ton of free throws.
And did you notice how each miss fired up the crowd even more? It became a vicious cycle.
Here's LaVine following the score by Aaron Gordon. LaVine kicks to Lopez.
Oh, come on.
That's good, and it's LaVine with the assist.
But the arms of Lopez go on forever, which is why he's able to create for himself deep.
Gordon with the screen for Payton. And it's sent back by Lopez. Payton against Grant. Pass to Lopez. That one good for 2.
Well, there's only so much that D can do defensively. Lopez is extremely talented down in the paint.
Now here's Payton. Outside Gordon. Simmons passes to Vucevic. Kicks it out to Gordon. Good on the three-point shot. Gordon's got his second basket of the night.
A nice start for them offensively. 3 of 4 to kick things off.
And you look at the post-up bangers.
Oh, yes.
Don't block shots at a high level. More and more, we're seeing teams relegate them to that 6-man role off the bench. It'll be interesting to see how that affects a guy like Vucevic, who fits that description.
Stranded, and then boom, they came back.
Isaac out of the paint. He's looking to dunk it whenever and wherever he gets it.
Now here's Valentine. Back to Lopez. Grant, right side, releases. It's Chicago with another bucket. Greg, why is it, do you think, that teams want those more floor-bound, post-up big men like Vucevic coming off the bench?
I think 2 things. First of all, their defensive shortcomings are less exposed playing against other reserves. Also, their ability to create offense on the block has more value with that second unit, because that group tends to have their struggles in terms of scoring the basketball.
Now here's Valentine. After the miss from Elfrid Payton. Clock at 6. LaVine for 3. Rebounded by Vucevic. Magic leading by 3. Gordon kicks to Vucevic. Stolen by Markkanen. Grant dishes to Markkanen. And he's fouled pretty hard on that shot, but he's got the chance to pick up the points at the line.
And Markkanen is a perfect candidate for that stretch 4. Outstanding at pulling the trigger from deep and not afraid to go inside and bang with the other bigs.
Bulls shooting their first free throws of the game on this trip to the line.
And when you look at their numbers from a season ago, 80% as a unit, that's something you'll be happy with.
Gentlemen, 2 shots. Move shots.
First free throw is good.
And for so long, the Bulls really were synonymous with the best defensive teams in the league. But as a team, they've started to slip the last few years. It's something that has been lost while this team kind of retools for the future.
Catching up on the changes for Orlando. Spates checked in for Vucevic. Terrence Ross comes in for Isaac. Fournier's checked in for Jonathan Simmons. And DJ Augustine subbed in for Payton.
All right, he sunk both.
And it used to be you could pencil in the Bulls as a top 10 defensive team by most metrics in any given year. But, Greg, the last few seasons, they've just been middle of the pack.
And, you know, over the history of this team, they've always been at their best when they played great defense. You go back to those Jordan years where they were marked by exceptional defense. This last group, led by Derrick Rose, similarly built on a defensive-minded philosophy. Let's just see if they get back to their roots with this new push.
Here's Fournier after the basket by Nikola Mirotic. Ross kicks to Fournier. Banked in off the glass.
He got pretty much a free run to the hoop right there. They might just count those as automatic points.
Feeds it to Holiday. Levine with it. Quiet so far offensively, searching for his first points of the game. Back to Holiday. Shot clock at 5. Shoots over Fournier. They get the rebound. Markkanen, good for the basket. Starting off 1 for 1 with that shot.
And remember, at 7 feet tall, Markkanen is tough to keep off the board, solid at tracking down misses on that offensive glass.
Now here's Fournier. And in the game with Memphis, he did not play well. Missed inside.
Some tough D in the paint. Get between him and the bucket and stopping the easy.
Seriously hard defensive team.
Fader on the way, and he buries that one, drilling the rim on the way down.
Look, you better get up on Mirotic from mid-range. He's deadly from the 3, so what do you think he is even closer? He's a real threat to bury these night in, night out.
Now here's Fournier. That one falls. His second basket of the game. He's now 2 for 3. Chicago leading. Levine passes to Holiday. Back to Levine. Here's the 3. Drains the three-pointer.
Timely passing leads to assists, and that's been the recipe for success.
They set the pick. The dish to Fournier. And he can't answer back. The three-pointer offline. The Bulls leading by 4. Mirotic inside. He's guarded by Ross. Levine can't hit.
Wasted opportunity. That's a good chance right there for an easy 2 on the open jump.
And Spence gets it to go.
And a good example there of why it's important to change ends quickly.
Yeah, talent in this league has it so that now pretty much every team can push the pace. You have to get back on
that is bullshit.
And they're scoring pretty well as we conclude the first quarter.
Wow.
It's Chicago as they wrap up the first quarter with a massive 16-6 run. And the second quarter about to get started. We'll be back in just a moment. And the first quarter is in the books. Second about ready to get underway. And before we move on, what do you guys think about what we've seen so far from the Bulls?
Well, already in the first period, they found ways to get this offense ramped up.
Well, yeah, small lead so far, but it's building fast. They better watch out.
And Chicago has possession. And this game, the first chance they've had to see Orlando.
Yeah, and they took care of business against this group last year, winning the season series.
Fournier and Ross, they're the wings. Maurice Spates out there with Aaron Gordon. And it's Augustine in at the point guard position. That's the group starting the second quarter for the Magic. Here's Fournier. It's hauled in by the Bulls.
Thought he was going to be able to take advantage of the D there. He had the space.
Here's Pondexter. He's guarded by Ross. Foul call that time on the way up. That'll give him 2 chances at the free throw line here. With a break in the action, let's show you the teams with the most second chance points last year. Number 1, the Bulls.
Yeah, that was a huge factor for them a season ago. Their ability to attack the offensive glass and then convert those into second chance buckets. I mean, no one did it better.
Gentlemen, 2 shots. Move shots.
And the first one drops. Well, we don't always get what we want, Chris, but if you were in charge of the dunk contest, which 4 players would you personally pick to make up the field?
Man, it's so tough. Wow. I think I definitely want to go with Levine. He's, you know, the ex-dunk champ.
Yes.
Wow. Oh, that's a tough one. I mean, Westbrook, I think Paul George would be great in there. Of course, LeBron, Griffin. I mean, I don't know. Davis. There's so many high flyers. I just think it's so tough because sometimes the smaller guys have the advantage. Big guys feel like they can't do it because they won't be as exciting. I mean, you know, even our worst dunk contest, I've fallen in love with because you get to see some incredible things. But, yeah, I'd start with them, but so many other players you can pick.
Jonathan Simmons is checked in for Orlando. Elfrid Payton comes in for DJ Augustine. The Bulls also changing it up. Robin Lopez is checked in for Bobby Portis. And it's Denzel Valentine in for Justin Holiday.
Yeah, those are starting to add up, guys. Up their last 5 baskets, 3 have been triple.
Back to Payton. They set the pick. He feeds it to Vucevic. The shot, no good. Now Chicago takes it the other way. Now here's Valentine. Tight defense on him. Pass to Mirotic. 3-pointer. Orlando grabs the miss. They come into this one following the loss to the Grizzlies.
And I think they can hold their heads high from that performance, you know, despite the final score being what it was.
Especially since they were in a hostile environment. They rose to the challenge, but just simply fell a little bit short.
Chicago leading by 7. Grant outside. Mirotic against space. Pondexter dishes to Mirotic. And that basket pushes the lead to double digits. Mirotic has got 6 here in this quarter.
And this is what Mirotic does best. A knockdown 3-ball specialist. Doesn't hesitate pulling the trigger.
And it'll be Orlando with their first time out of the game right here.
Here to see some numbers for Payton. Last year, getting it done. Put up about 12 points a game, 6 assists and 4 rebounds. And you like what he brings backing up the point guard.
Yeah, no doubt. He knows how to run this offense. Tremendous asset to this team coming off the bench.
And for the Magic, it's really been a musical chairs with their coaches. A lot of churning on the roster, but the pieces still have yet to gel. And honestly, it's been a mess. Great job of screening there. Nice job to take it to the rim and get the finish.
Mirotic the screen. Here's Valentine. Got a piece of it. Payton right side. And Simmons kicks to Payton. That 3 off the mark. The Bulls leading by 8. Grant outside. Back to Mirotic. Down low. Lopez kicks to Pondexter. 6 on the shot clock. Mirotic the screen. Shot off the pick. They get it back. Orlando's gone 0-2 from deep here in the second. Vucevic the pass to Payton. Simmons dishes to Payton. Spates sets a screen. Out to Payton. Here's Vucevic. And good as it rattles through the hoop. Vucevic has got his second basket.
And when he squares up, his height makes him a tough assignment.
Yeah, even when you get a hand up, it's hard to really affect his shot.
And stolen by Spates. And Simmons kicks to Payton. Vucevic a screen on Grant. To the inside. Lopez with the steal. Here's Valentine. He's had some playing time, but no scoring yet from him. Grant kicks to Pondexter. He used that pick to get in close.
And there it is again. On a lot of their possessions this first half, they've established great inside position.
For Chicago, they have been successful on 3 of their 4 free throw attempts up to this point. So Orlando going with an almost entirely new group here. Gordon's checked in for Spates. Terrence Ross comes in for Isaac. Fournier's checked in for Simmons. And DJ Augustine subbed in for Payton. So Chicago going with an almost entirely new group here. Portis, he's checked in for Lopez. Markkanen comes in for Mirotic. Justin Holiday's checked in for Denzel Valentine. And Levine subbed in for Grant. Free throw good, Pondexter. And Chris, I know you started doing a podcast, Fearless or Insane, with Chris Webber, an opportunity to have some meaningful conversations. What's that been like?
It's been great, Kevin. I've gotten a chance to talk to some friends, some mentors like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I've gotten to speak to him about what it was like playing for Wooden, what it was like coming up in the crazy 60s in that time. And, you know, he's such a thoughtful and a great individual. So to hear his stories about he and Muhammad Ali, he and Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, all these great figures is just wonderful. I also got to speak to track legends John Carlos and Tommy Smith, who in the 1968 Olympics, we've seen them kind of protest when they put their fist up in defiance and kind of put their voice out for the voiceless. And I got to talk to them about how tough of a moment that was. Did they know the sacrifice that they were making? What happened, the backlash to what happened? And then all these years later, do they feel kind of vindicated that we're showing them so much love and people around the world appreciated what they've done? So we try to just discuss fearless or insane. You know, they say insane is doing the same thing over, expecting a different result. Where these guys put their lives on the line, and they kind of knew that it necessarily wouldn't change the arc of justice, but they felt that they had to do it. And so it's just some cool conversations with people and athletes that were much more than an athlete. And I've learned a lot, and it's been a cool podcast.
Vucevic setting the pick for Ross. Augustine passes to Gordon. It's Vucevic, top of the key. No good off
See,
the
if
front.
that had actually passed to
that's
the
giving
person
him
that
too
was
much
asking
space from
pass
mid-range.
for
It
in the first
doesn't
place,
hurt
we
him
never
there.
had to pass
They
around like
can't
that.
keep doing that.
No NBA. What have he done to this
They
game?
set the screen. Again, Levine missing.
As off the mark as he has been, they're a little lucky to be in front.
Gordon dishes to Fournier. Boom, he jams it straight down.
And if that doesn't get them fired up, guys, nothing will.
Greg, just what the doctor ordered, huh? Some high-flying antics to narrow the deficit.
Well, also a miscommunication on defense. No one rotates over. See ya.
Kept alive.
How this
The kick out to Holiday.
there? How does none of you get
Three-pointer.
it?
Again, Holiday missing. The Magic trail by 9.
Don't have to be in a hurry. They can hold for the last one.
No question. It's not easy to be patient, but you really don't want to give up an extra possession.
And play stops. Whistle on what looks to be an illegal screen.
Yeah, still moving a little bit when he set that screen.
Oh, wait.
He'll argue that he was set, but I really didn't think so.
I think you'll probably see more arguments on those illegal screen calls than just about any other play. Maybe.
He got it!
Oh, it's good. It's good.
And that three makes things just a little more interesting here as we head to halftime. They are not going away.
And so it's Chicago with a 6-point lead at the end of the quarter. A good size advantage, and they'll look to increase it. And now let's catch up with David Aldridge, who's standing by from the sideline. All right, Dave.
Kevin, thank you. Here with Elfrid Payton. Elfrid, what's the game plan defensively in the second half?
We got to continue to stay home on shooters. They hit a lot of threes. If we cut that off, we have a good chance to win.
We'll see what happens there, EP. Thanks. Back to you, Kevin.
Thanks so much, Dave, for the great interview. Don't go away, folks. We'll be back for the second half of basketball right after this.
It's the 2K Sports Halftime Show.
Hello again, everybody. Ernie Johnson here, along with Shaquille O'Neal and Kenny the Jet Smith. Time to check out the first half of action. It was a closely contested first quarter for Chicago. At the end of one, they were able to end up with a 5-point lead. And guys, for the Bulls, and Kenny, what did you think about what you saw from Chicago?
Well, their reserves showed up tonight, not just on hustle plays, but in points. And that's what you got to do coming off the bench to maximize your minutes.
And Shaq, let's get your input on the Magic.
Well, a lot of their points came in transition. They dictated the pace of the game. It was a fast pace. Put the defense back on its heels. I say keep attacking the second half. Do not slow down.
And now, folks, just moments away from the start of the third quarter.
Welcome back, folks. The downtown skyline of Orlando, Florida, looking especially striking tonight. Welcome back, everyone. The second half about to get underway, and it's been a close one so far. You know, Mirotic has been exceptional here, guys.
Well, they've done a good job of letting the game come to them, and really few forced shots here so far.
Terrific first half on offense. This is how you draw it up. We'll see if they can maintain that efficiency going forward.
Chicago leading by 6.
Here we go.
And some players, you just kind of know that they'll end up in coaching. Just the way they approach the game and go about themselves. Chris, having played Hoiberg during your career, did you ever see him becoming a head coach?
Well, it's not as easy to tell your opponents versus your teammates. Didn't have a really close relationship with them, didn't know or his expectations, never played with them. So, no, I never saw it coming.
Tipping off the second half, here's Fred Hoiberg's 5. Markkanen and Lopez are together down low. Grant is out there with Zach LaVine. And it's Valentine in at the 3 slot. That doesn't go either for Peyton.
Just please.
He'll be beating himself up if they can't come back because he is not carrying his weight at the offensive end.
Yeah, that's just poor decision-making. He's got to be better in those situations.
I'd love to hear his explanation to coach right there. I mean, that should be an interesting conversation.
Pass to Isaac. Lets it go from deep. No good. And the Bulls going the other way now.
Just can't sink anything.
They've led by as many as 11 points. There's the screen. LaVine with it. Guarded by Simmons. LaVine, good.
How do you get beaten?
And defensively, this is the opposite of how you want to start the second half.
Yeah, I mean, you spend all that time in the locker room trying to get mentally prepared. Then you come out and give up that.
And so it's going to be a 3-second violation out there on the defense. And certainly while the injury for Zach LaVine and his ACL was devastating, Greg, it's good to see him back on the court, and he seems to be on track to making a full recovery.
And Kevin, still amazing to me to see just how far the medical community has come in terms of treating ACL. And LaVine is such an athletic monster. To lose even a little burst would have been huge. Fortunately, though, with modern medicine, it's going to allow this guy to make the most of his potential.
Oh my God,
still, ugly start to the second half. They're still scoreless in their first 5 attempts.
Not what I wanted at all.
Grant kicks to LaVine. A floater. Another shot. And the nice bucket inside from Markkanen. Markkanen's got the lead up to 11 now for the Bulls.
This is on
and Markkanen continuing to improve inside. I mean, utilizing his height. D has a tough time matching up with somebody with his skill set.
Spates checked in for Vucevic. Mirotic is checked in for the Bulls. Peyton passes to Simmons. Back to Peyton. Gordon a screen. The baseline jam. That shot, no good. Good D by Lopez.
A good board there, Kevin, but overall they're getting slightly out-rebounded.
Grant with the ball. Now Peyton defending. Great open look there. Mirotic has got 13.
Assists like that have typified their effort today. Terrific ball movement.
Gordon for 3. The basket good off the assist from Simmons. 8 points for Aaron Gordon.
And that's how you answer back.
Trading bombs the last 2 possessions. They're going at one another.
Simmons against Levine. Down to 5 on the shot clock. The Bulls need to get a shot off here. Here's Valentine. Rebounded by Isaac. The Magic trail by 11.
It's not even bothering to block these shots.
And it's Simmons
really
penetrating. Lays it up and banks it in.
They shoot through me all the time
The
anyway.
feed was perfect. The timing, the placement, everything was right on the money.
Grant against Payton. A little under 2.5 minutes off the clock now here in the third. Mirotic, the screen. Grant against Payton. The shot. And the Bulls get it
come
back.
on, you've got to
and
get
that one
the
is
fucking
good.
rebound.
15 points
You do all
for
the work on
Nikola
defense and then you
Mirotic.
can't get the
He's been in
rebound.
control here tonight, helping them get in front with his work from the field.
Payton kicks to Spates. Payton outside. It's off his leg. And the ref's whistling a kick ball. For the Magic, Terrence Ross is checked in for Gordon. Fournier comes in for Jonathan Simmons. And DJ Augustine subbed in for Payton. Bobby Portis is checked in for the Bulls. Augustine dishes to Spates. And the slam dunk by Spates.
Yeah, he just punched the ticket on that one. That'll get the job done.
Powerful two-hand jam.
The Bulls have been very active in revamping this roster. A lot of trades and player movement. They were worried of becoming a treadmill team.
Some nice ball movement by the Bulls. Mirotic's shot is off. The Magic trail by 9. Here's Fournier. Lays it up off the glass. Fournier's got 8.
And they're passing the ball very crisply here.
With some lackluster finishes to their season the last couple years, that worry of finishing poorly isn't going away for Bulls fans. But luckily, the Bulls have a history of shaking things up.
It's never easy to make that choice. The front office has been proactive in shaking things up. Not easy, but they're committed to change right now.
A well-timed shot fake got the defender off the ground right there.
No, but Lopez is terrific on the offensive glass. I love seeing him use his long arms to haul in the boards.
Fournier passes to Augustine. Here's Isaac. And there's the foul. It'll go on Denzel Valentine. That is his first foul of the game.
Yeah, clearly he hadn't established position there.
And the Magic making a change here. Vucevic is checked in. Chicago also making some changes. Markkanen comes in for Robin Lopez. And Justin Holiday subbed in for Denzel Valentine. The Bulls leading by 9. Dishes to Grant. It's tipped. And now Orlando on the break. Ross is running. Here's Fournier. The Magic again can't hit. The Bulls have gone at a pretty good shooting pace. They're 6 of 13 from the field here in the third. Holiday gets the bucket. Orlando's gone 1 of 4 in three-point shots here in the third. Here's Isaac. Rebound by the Bulls. Mirotic has got rebound number 5 here tonight. Here's Grant. No good on the triple.
Come on, breakaway. We can only score on breakaways.
Here's Isaac. Off on that one.
But look, the reach of Mirotic so effective, especially on defense. He does a great job at altering shots.
And so it's the Chicago Bulls holding on to an 11-point cushion as we get ready to take a break. And they've done a phenomenal job down low, so many of their points coming right at the rim. We'll get right back to the action when we return. And meanwhile, Frank Vogel talking to his team.
I mean,
shrink the floor when you're on.
Welcome back as we get ready to start the fourth quarter. Not exactly a nail-biter here, but you never know. Well, we talk so much about what it's like on the floor, Chris, but I wonder what it was like off the floor when you were on the bench watching the team play and what was going through your head and mind. What did you and your teammates talk about as you were on the bench taking a rest and watching the game go on?
It depends on which game. You know, if you're in L.A. and you see, Eddie Murphy and Rihanna walk in, you're going to say, hey, look at Beyonce and Jay over there. Or, if you're watching a great play and you see a guy dunk on your teammate, you're not going to get too excited, but you're going to whisper to your teammate, man, did you see that? That's crazy. Or, you know, you're pumping up guys because they've been working so hard in practice, and it's a guy who's getting his first time to kind of get in and get a good run. So you're cheering him on. And so being on the bench, you know, it's a lot of fun. You have to stay focused and ready to be into the game. But part of that job on the bench is to keep the energy of the bench, and that's to keep guys encouraged to be loose, to have fun. And so it's a lot of fun being on the bench. More fun when you're winning than losing, but a lot of fun being on the bench encouraging guys.
Augustine and Fournier are in the backcourt. Isaac out there with Terrence Ross. And it's Vucevic in at the 5 down low. That's who's out there for Orlando. Stolen by Holiday. Here's Payton. This one on the play. Bucket's good. He'll go to the line.
I don't know what's happening defensively, but they're not putting up any resistance.
Gordon's checked in for Orlando. And the Bulls making a change here as well. Zach LaVine's checked in for Jaren Grant. Holiday against Fournier. Right side LaVine. That one's off. Still out of sync.
This has not been his best effort. He's lucky his teammates have been there to bail him out.
So he gets the whistle. Contact on the way up and 2 shots coming up.
And Isaac really continues to intrigue you. A 6'10" forward who's just got great agility and can be a nightmare in transition.
2 shots.
That's good from Isaac. Jaren Grant, he's checked in for the Bulls. And that's good as he hits both of his shots. For Chicago, they've gone 0 of 3 to start the 4th quarter. LaVine kicks to Grant. From 13 and off the left side of the rim, and it swirls in for him. And the Bulls lead by 4. And we're around 2 minutes into the 4th quarter here. Here's Vucevic. Markkanen pulls it in.
Oh, come on, NBA.
Markkanen's got 6 rebounds now in the game. LaVine kicks to Grant.
Go to get the rebound and doesn't even do it.
To the left side wing. There's a good screen. Here's Portis. And a lot of contact on that one, so he'll shoot 2 here. That one on Vucevic. That free throw, no good. Jonathan Simmons is checked in for Evan Fournier. And Chicago also making a switch. Valentine's checked in.
And I'm sure he's lamenting over the one that got away. But that does make it a 2-possession game.
Payton attacking. Pass to Isaac. That's a 2 from Gordon, and he nails that one right through the net.
Well, they left it until the 4th quarter, but finally the run they needed to get back into this one.
Well, look, they finally found the energy. They need to make this one a ball game again. Now, can they get the lead?
The basket counts and 1.
What the
He'll
fuck?
go to the line with a chance to make it a 3-point play.
God, get back to within 2 points.
Such a cool shot there, the floater.
Bulls making a switch here. Lopez is checked in. Here's Isaac over Valentine. And he didn't get quite enough under that one.
Yeah, that's just poor decision-making. He's got to be better in those situations.
I mean, how
I love
wide
to hear his
open do you need
explanation
to
to
be
coach right there.
shots?
I mean,
like,
that should be an
literally wide
interesting
open, like
conversation.
No one within 10 feet of yourself. That's bullshit.
But they'll get another chance. Kicks to Markkanen. Well, if you're just tuning in, welcome. We've got about 3.5 minutes gone here in the 4th quarter. 6 on the shot clock. Valentine with it, and it's Gordon picking him up. Here's Markkanen. Sinks the triple. And the Bulls lead by 9.
And I tell you what, Markkanen has already mastered the art of the bank shot. Loves getting it up there and knocking that one down. You have got to be in his space if you want to disrupt his rhythm.
And you can see there the defender gets caught up on the pick.
Team ball. Great execution on offense. Everyone working together. You wish you could have that on every play.
Lopez a screen. They get a hand on it.
Oh, come on.
Grant dishes to Levine. Vucevic with the block. That's good.
Yes.
And it's Payton with the assist. Payton's got 4 assists in the game.
A good score inside, and the defense really offering very little resistance.
That's just an attack mindset. I love it. Game on the line, he's out competing guys. Even that close to the bucket, that's a very tough finish in that kind of traffic.
And so he draws the foul on the shot, a trip to the line to shoot 2. And now hurts as he doesn't get the first one to fall. Trying to focus now on the second. Mirotic is checked in for Markkanen.
Okay, that was the biggest fucking NBA glitch I've ever seen.
That's good, going 1 of 2 from the line, and that shrinks the margin to just 4.
That one miss was huge.
Like
he had a chance to turn this into a one-possession game.
Wow, they need
Lopez a screen. Here's Levine. And a kind roll that time.
That was out of
that one fall.
Wow.
No matter what, he's always going to be one of the most dangerous men on the court.
Time call here. The Magic decide to talk it over.
So done with this shit.
They're trailing by 6. We've got 1:13 left in the game. And now let's present our Jordan Player of the Game, Nikola Mirotic.
Yeah, and his percentage from the field tonight, just amazing. He hadn't just been gunning. He's been picking his spots, and you need that kind of patience and discipline to shoot as well as he had.
On the sideline, let's catch up with Hall of Famer David Aldridge.
During that break, Frank Vogel had some real words for his team. He told them we've got to make the most of every chance right now. This is a winnable game, but we've got to make plays. Guys, we'll see if they can come back.
Count it!
Yes.
And now they trail by just 4.
I tell you, Isaac has great vision for a big man. Can see over defenders easily thanks to that size.
Lopez a screen. Grant the pass to Valentine. Out to the right wing. Here's Mirotic. A three-pointer, no good.
You can't fault him for taking the 3 when he's that wide open. You can't pass that shot.
Yes.
Good. And he has brought them to within 2 points.
And this atmosphere is bananas.
Guys separate themselves by how they perform in clutch situations. Give this man his props.
8-second difference between the shot clock and the game clock. Simmons against Levine.
Yes.
See that time from Vucevic.
That's what we're talking about in terms of the activity level defensively. You got to protect the rim.
Well, that takes physical ability, good timing. Those two
Come on,
things
Aaron.
that he possesses.
Yes!
And so far in the second half,
4 seconds on the clock.
Kind of game than what we saw
Oh
earlier.
my God.
Attention to detail. They've really turned the corner here. Completely different team compared to their play and their focus in the first half.
Chicago calls timeout. The score knotted at 58. Just 4 seconds left here in the fourth quarter.
Man, that was fucking hard. I would never have thought this time last year that I would have to work this freaking hard just to get to a tie ball game on pro. I mean, fuck me dead.
Levine. It falls!
Oh my God.
Time call here. The Magic decide to talk it over. Guys, your thoughts?
Yeah, tough situation here, but they do have enough time to get a catch and shoot. It's going to have to be very quick, but they do have time.
Fournier for three. Oh, that shot had a chance, but no good. And so the big win by Chicago in a tight game. They break the hearts of every fan in the building with a dramatic late victory.
And Kevin, this is the kind of win you have to take a ton of pride in. I mean, they battled with everything they had and came through when the pressure was at its highest.
And that'll wrap it up, folks. For Chris Webber, Greg Anthony, and David Aldridge, this is Kevin Harlan saying thanks for watching. So long.
This game is going to be the death of me, I swear to God. I just don't get it. I mean, I know he's wide open, but that just downright fucking sucks. Like, for him to just, like, drive through me like that and just take a wide open shot, fuck's sake. I mean, our field goals are pretty good there. It's our threes, and once again, we can't shoot threes at all. 25%. Free throws were good. Field goals were good. Fast break points were good. Points in the... I mean, look at that. We literally have to take 40 points in the paint because we can't get anything from outside. Assists were good. Bench did okay. Defensive rebounds were good. We weren't actually that bad on offensive rebounds. I thought they got a lot more than what they did, but... that's just... I mean, we got a 14-point lead down to level. So that's a huge thing to come off of, but that's just heartbreaking to lose it on the line like that. Alright guys, that's it for today. We'll be back next week with more NBA action as I'm going away this weekend, so bit of a break, but yeah, that's about all I can say about that one. Alright guys,